While others still believe in wedding vows and debate cake flavors at tastings, someone quietly erases his name from every guest list. He didn't scream, didn't accuse, didn't cause a scene. He just sat on a porch deep in the woods, stared into his coffee, and knew there was no turning back. One video, one note scribbled on a napkin, one voice behind the camera, and everything fell into place. She laughed, kissed, disappeared behind a door with strangers, while he was choosing the color of the banquet napkins. But the worst part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was how effortlessly she pretended nothing had ever happened. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watched this video. I value every one of your comments. So, let's get started. It was a Thursday night when I first met Phoebe. My coworker had dragged me out to one of those trivia events at a local bar. She was seated at the table next to ours, surrounded by friends, arguing animatedly about whether or not penguins had knees. I leaned over and said, "They do, just hidden under feathers." She laughed and called me a smartass. That was her very first comment to me. 2 weeks later, we were officially dating. Phoebe had this rare kind of spark. She could turn an ordinary Tuesday evening into something unforgettable. She thrived on last-minute plans, impromptu road trips, bottomless brunches, rooftop dinners. I was her complete opposite, measured, organized, and cautious. While I preferred routines and structure, she lived for unpredictability. Strangely enough, we fit together perfectly. After a year, we signed a lease and moved in together. On our 3rd anniversary, I asked her to marry me. I'd been holding on to the ring in my sock drawer for 2 months, waiting for the courage to ask. When I finally proposed, she started crying and said yes before I even got the words out. That moment was pure joy. We chose a date in June, nothing extravagant, just something warm and personal. 70 guests, a quiet ceremony by the lake, and a weekend getaway vibe. We divided the tasks. She managed the flowers and music, and I coordinated the venue and logistics. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, or so I thought. Her bachelorette weekend was arranged by her best friend, Naomi. The destination, a rental cabin out in Lakewood, 3 hours away. 10 girls, a big house, and party arrangements. Phoebe told me it would be relaxed. She said it would just be some wine, conversations, and a few games. Before leaving, she kissed me goodbye and joked, "Try not to miss me too much." I laughed and said I'd do my best. I stood at the end of the driveway watching her pull away, music thumping, her friends already laughing inside the car. That weekend, I didn't hear much from her. A few light-hearted texts, a heart emoji, and one group selfie with cocktails. Seemed normal. She came home Sunday night, hugged me in the kitchen like she hadn't seen me in years, and whispered, "I missed your face." And I believed her. But then Monday arrived, and I happened to get home from work a bit earlier than usual. Phoebe had stepped out to run errands. On the dining table sat a sleek black gift bag. No label, no note. I assumed she'd forgotten it there. Curious, I looked inside. What I found destroyed me. The bag looked innocent enough. Black matte finish, gold ribbon tied neatly. Inside were your usual bachelorette souvenirs, a plastic tiara, a bride vibes only sash, a miniature bottle of sparkling wine. Then I noticed the napkin, on the back, scrawled in red marker. "To the Queen of Wild Nights, what you pulled off with all 3? Legendary." N. 3? I stared at it, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. I laughed nervously. Naomi always exaggerated. To her, even charades counted as wild. Maybe it was some inside joke, but then I saw the underwear, a pair of men's boxer briefs. Not mine. They weren't fresh out of a package, loosely folded. I tried to tell myself there was some harmless explanation. Maybe a prank. Maybe part of a game. But then I spotted a USB drive hidden under the tiara, marked only with a little smiley face sticker. I should have left it alone. I didn't. I plugged it into my laptop. There was a single video file. It opened with Phoebe dancing in the cabin's living room, wearing the sash, bottle in hand, music blasting. She looked stunning, glowing, completely carefree. The camera panned to a man, possibly a bartender, dressed in black with a towel over his shoulder. Phoebe grabbed his shirt and kissed him passionately. Her friends cheered like their team had just won a championship. I recognized Naomi's voice yelling from behind the camera, "That's our girl, Phoebe!" I skipped forward. Now they were out by the hot tub. Two unfamiliar guys, someone called them Marcus and Tristan, appeared on screen. Phoebe was straddling Marcus's lap while Tristan poured champagne down her legs. Everyone laughed. She never pulled away. I jumped ahead again. The final clip lasted less than 30 seconds. Phoebe, laughing, led all three men into a bedroom and closed the door behind her. Naomi's voice again. Triple threat. Our girl's out of control. Then the screen went black. I uploaded a copy to a private cloud folder and placed the drive back exactly where I found it, tucked beneath the tiara. Everything untouched. About 20 minutes later, Phoebe walked in carrying iced coffee and groceries. "Hey, babe," she called, setting the bags down. "You all right?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, just a long day." That night, she snuggled up to me on the couch like nothing had changed. She picked a documentary, something about volcanoes. I couldn't tell you a single fact from it. My brain was stuck on those last seconds of the footage. Phoebe, laughing, disappearing behind that bedroom door with three strangers. I never said a word. She asked if I wanted anything sweet after dinner. I shook my head no. She leaned in, brushed a kiss across my cheek, and said, "You've barely said a word tonight." I lifted one shoulder slightly. "Just tired. Long day." She accepted that without another question. That was Phoebe. She never pried when something felt off. She hated tension and never tried to drag things out. That night I hardly slept at all. I just laid there, eyes fixed on the ceiling, letting thoughts run wild through my head. By the time daylight touched the blinds, my mind was already made up. I was only waiting for the right opening. I went through the expected motions, talked about the florist, confirmed the DJ, even gave fake enthusiasm over which cake we should go with. Meanwhile, she barely looked up from her phone, locked into an endless back and forth with Naomi. Usually, she deleted most of their chats, but never quite thoroughly. One night, as her phone charged across the room, a message lit up the screen. "Benjamin said you bit his neck." "You're crazy," Naomi had written. That was the moment everything snapped into focus. I didn't need more details. I had enough. I'd glance at Phoebe from across the living room while she went on about centerpiece arrangements or menu tastings, and all I could see was someone pretending to be who she used to be. She wasn't the woman I fell in love with anymore, just someone going through the motions. The following morning she was singing to herself as she cracked eggs into a skillet. "Hey," she said over her shoulder, "can you call the resort about checking in early for the honeymoon?" I nodded like everything was fine. "Yeah, I'll take care of it." She placed a plate of eggs in front of me and kissed the top of my head. "You know I love you, right?" "I know," I replied. I ate in silence, took a long shower, and left the apartment like it was just another workday. But I didn't go to the office. Instead, I drove out of town to a small cabin I had reserved under a different name, paid for with a prepaid card I'd bought in cash the night before. No paper trail, no alerts. I knew if I confronted her, she'd cry, spin stories, and make me question what I knew to be real. I wasn't looking for apologies or explanations. I just needed distance. That morning, before heading out, I started dismantling it all. One call at a time, to the venue, to the caterer, to the florist. I kept things brief, told them the wedding was off. A few asked for reasons, most didn't. I told them to email their cancellation policies and hung up. At the downtown library, I pulled down our wedding website, canceled our honeymoon, locked up the gift registry. I left nothing behind. No loose ends. Then I left the city behind, too. The drive to the cabin took 2 hours. One bed, tiny kitchen, no TV, just peace. I made coffee and sat out on the porch, watching the wind move through the trees. That's when the phone started buzzing. Phoebe, over and over. I let each call go unanswered. At first, her tone was casual. "Hey, babe. Everything okay? Haven't heard from you. Give me a call when you get a sec, all right?" Then worry crept in. "Samuel, seriously, where are you? I called your job. They said you didn't come in." Then full-blown panic. "All your stuff's gone. What's happening? Please call me. I'm really scared." I powered off the phone and dropped it into the drawer. The silence was easier. By the end of the second day, most of the wedding was undone. We lost a chunk of the venue deposit. The caterer was sympathetic. The photographer asked if we still wanted the engagement shoot. I told her it was canceled, permanently. Phoebe still had no clue where I'd gone. That was intentional. Her messages didn't stop. At first confused, then desperate. "Hey, please, can we just talk? I don't get it. You're scaring me." She didn't realize I had seen the message, still believed it was something we could patch up. That afternoon, I sent 2 simple texts, one to my parents, one to hers. "The wedding is canceled. I'll explain soon." Her mother called immediately. I let it ring out. Then Naomi started messaging me. First, "Samuel, what the hell did you do? Phoebe's a mess." Then, "You need to talk to her. This is way too much." But this wasn't me unraveling. It was me cutting the rope. I opened a new savings account and moved everything over, out of reach from the joint one. I called the landlord. The lease had always been in my name. I told them Phoebe would need to be out within the next 30 days. If not, they were free to start the eviction process. That apartment never felt like mine anyway. She had decorated every inch of it. Her throw pillows, her fridge magnets, her sticky notes with passive-aggressive reminders. It was a shrine to something I once thought was real. Before I went completely dark, I scheduled one last email from my laptop, set to deliver at midnight. Subject line, "For Phoebe." I sent her a message. "I've seen the footage. You with those 3 men. No need to explain. It said everything." I didn't walk away because of what happened that night. I walked away because of who you chose to be. The wedding's off. Don't contact me again. I sent the same message to her parents, video attached. They deserved to understand why there would be no ceremony. Though I never saw a read receipt, I knew the exact moment she opened it. My phone lit up with a string of missed calls at 12:07 a.m. A few minutes later, Naomi texted, "You're really torching everything over one night?" I couldn't help the faint smirk that tugged at my lips. 10 minutes passed. Then she called. I picked up. "Well," she began, "never figured you had the guts, Samuel." "I didn't," I told her. "Not until you dropped off that gift bag at my place. That changed the game." She paused. "You weren't supposed to see that." "No," I said. "You gave her a keepsake, a little memory reel of Phoebe's night to remember." Naomi let out a dry, bitter laugh. "It was a bachelorette party, not some confession tape," she said. "You caught her walking into a room with 3 guys and turned it into some kind of evidence. What kind of friend does that?" "She was blowing off steam," Naomi added sharply. "Her last night as a free woman." "Benjamin was harmless," she continued. "Marcus and Tristan weren't even invited to stay. They just did." There was a silence between us. Then I asked the one thing that still lingered. "Did she feel any remorse?" Naomi's voice lost its edge. "Not until you disappeared." Of course. That made sense. Then came her accusation. "So what now? You've broken off the engagement, humiliated her in front of her entire world. What else are you after?" "Responsibility," I said softly. "For what exactly?" she snapped. "She's a grown woman. She made her bed. And you're the one who lit the match." Naomi didn't say another word. Naturally, there was nothing left to argue. I ended the call. By morning, everything started crumbling, just not for me. Phoebe's life was the one falling apart. Her parents called mine, furious and ashamed. They'd seen the video. Her father immediately cut off all financial support. No more rent payments, no more covering her lifestyle. Her mother didn't return a single call. Then her friends began to vanish. I had shared the video with only 4 people I trusted. No gossip, no added commentary, just the facts. It spread fast. No one wanted to be associated with that kind of scandal. A few messaged me. Didn't realize she was like that. Sorry, man. Most just disappeared from her life without a word. Even Elise, her closest confidant, cut all ties, unfollowed her everywhere, said she couldn't stand behind that level of betrayal. Phoebe tried reaching out again. Her messages were different this time. Raw, desperate. Samuel, please. Just speak to me. I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. I was drunk. I didn't even remember everything at first. I love you. Please. She called from a different number, left a voicemail in tears. It didn't mean anything. Please believe me. It wasn't real. But it was real. It meant 4 years had been nothing but smoke and mirrors. Every kiss, every late-night whisper, a lie wrapped in affection. A week later, she moved out. Left a note. I'm leaving. Keys are on the counter. That was the last direct message I ever got from her. Not long after, she and Naomi had a very public falling out. Naomi posted a vague but pointed Instagram story. Funny how people blame you for consequences they brought on themselves. Someone sent it to me. I didn't even react. Shortly after, Phoebe quit her job. The scandal had followed her in. People whispered. They stared. She couldn't take it. Her social circle kept collapsing. Elise was long gone. Said again she couldn't back someone who'd hurt people like that. She went from bridal posts and mimosa brunches to sleeping on her cousin's sofa and scrubbing her accounts clean. I, on the other hand, was building something new, quiet, steady, deliberate. The same kind of life she once mocked as boring. 3 months later, I signed a lease in another city, smaller apartment. No memories in the walls. No one knew me there. Only one person knew where I was going, Adrian. He helped clean up the legal mess, made sure Phoebe couldn't push the wedding expenses onto me. One night, I was clearing out old folders on my laptop, photos from trips, birthdays, anniversaries. I hovered over the one marked us, then I dragged it into the trash. No emotion, no second look, just gone. Later that night, Phoebe texted, "You destroyed me. Are you happy now?" I stared at it, then deleted it, unread. Because the truth? I didn't destroy her. She did that herself. All I did was step aside and let gravity finish what she started. These days, she rarely crosses my mind. When she does, it's like remembering a film I almost liked, but walked out of halfway through. Great beginning, awful payoff. Sometimes people only show you who they really are at the end, and sometimes, if you're lucky, they show you just in time. She thought that night in Lakewood was one last burst of freedom before settling down. Turns out, it was the last night she ever had with me. And the cruelest part? She still doesn't get what real, silent revenge looks like. It's not rage. It's not confrontation. It's simply me, gone, forever. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you